Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Chandana, and in today's video we're going to be looking at understanding the path of sadhana. So who is sadhana? Who is suited for the path of sadhana? Well, if you ask me, everybody is suited for the path of sadhana, but before we go into sadhana, what you need to understand is this is something that is there for the long haul. It's something you should be willing to do over the whole duration of your lifetime. Okay, and don't force yourself into sadhana. Don't have this FOMO, okay, that everybody is doing it and I'm not doing it. Although it is good to pursue sadhana on a material and a spiritual level, but start on it when you are feeling like doing it yourself, when you feel that inner calling and you feel like, yes, this is something that you want to take up. But before you go into sadhana, I would like to talk about a few preliminary steps about that one should do before you enter into any hardcore sadhana. Okay, so first and foremost, if you're keen on going ahead on the spiritual path, the first sadhana that you take up is always of Lord Ganesh, okay, Ganapati, because he is the one who clears your path. He is the one that lays a very solid foundation for you, before you move ahead into deeper sadhanas. So how does one get on to this path? So ideally you need to build up a discipline, okay, where you are able to take out certain time every day, at least 1 to 1.5 hours. Okay, and in a sadhana, what does it mean when you're doing sadhana? Sadhana is not that you just sit and you're just taking the names of God or you're just chanting a mantra. Okay, a sadhana requires you to have a specific anushtan. Okay, now anushtan is you making a promise to the deity that you will do a certain number of chants within a certain time frame, following all the yamas and niyamas, or the rules and regulations that have been set out for that particular sadhana. Okay, but because sadhana is something that is very intense, that requires you to have a lot of discipline, the easier way to get into this is to start building up your stamina for sitting for long hours, for chanting for long hours, initially without taking up a sankalp or without making a certain promise to any deity. Okay, so say for example, you are going to start off with a Ganpati sadhana. Okay, before you do that, take up the mantra that you are going to do the sadhana of and try to sit and do one mala every day, then bring it up to 5 malas, then 11 malas, then 21 malas, and see whether you are able to commit to that practice and commit to that routine and that time. Okay, once you are used to this, then you go ahead and make a sankalp and then say that, okay, you will sit every day at this time and do so many malas every day, or you're going to do an X number of counts in a 40-day period or a 90-day period, whatever it is, whatever your sankalp is. So when you do these practices before taking a sankalp, one is you will understand how much of your mental energy it is taking. Suppose you say, no, I can go to office, do my work, come back in the evening and then sit. See, when you practice your sadhana before you take the sankalp, you will understand how long it takes. When you're doing it for at least a month before you actually take the promise, you will know how your energy and your biorhythms are fluctuating day in and day out. Okay, and every day is not the same. Some days you're going to be very energetic, some days you're going to be very tired, some days your dog will come and interrupt your sadhana when you're sitting. So anything can happen, and when you have a fair understanding of your biorhythms, your family's temperament, how much of time you can give to yourself in isolation without your family or your friends or your bosses disturbing you, all these kind of things, then you get a fair idea of, okay, am I even ready to take this up or no? Suppose you can't do it in the evening and you have to do it in the morning. Are you okay to do it at the Brahma Muhurat? Can you wake up every day at 6 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning? So these are things that you need to have, like, a self-assessment on your own before you take up the sadhana, even your first sadhana, right? So once you are sure of that, then you take up the sankalp, because and another thing I will warn you about here is, when you are doing this practice, just to make sure that the mantra is sitting on your tongue, you're able to sit for longer periods, you're able to sit at a certain time that you have decided for yourself, you may not see any disturbances or obstacles or any such thing coming your way when you're doing the practice of the mantra. The minute you take the sankalp, okay, and you start on day 1, you will see the minute you sit down, your dog is barking, the delivery guy has come, your child has, fallen off a bicycle or something and wants your attention, your boss is. So this is because the deity is testing you, whether you will still commit to the sadhana or you're going to bounce off of it or break it, okay? And the other thing is, when you sit down for your mantra japa, until you have completed your number of malas that you have decided, you are not supposed to leave your asana, okay? That is a very important thing. So say, for example, in your sankalp, if you said, I will do 11 malas every day, okay, and now you're maybe on your 4th or 5th mala, and suddenly, somebody is screaming from another room saying, can you come here, I need your help, or whatever it is, you should not leave your asana midway. Say that, okay, I've done 3, I'll attend to whatever it is, and I'll come back and do the remaining number of malas. So this is something that you should not do. It is as good as breaking your sankalp for that day, alright, that you have taken, or that you have made the promise in the beginning. And once you take a sankalp for a particular sadhana, you have to take it only once in the beginning before you start. You don't need to take a sankalp every day that you sit for the sadhana, right? So what is sadhana actually? So sadhana is of 2 types. Okay, one is for your spiritual development, and some sadhanas are for your kamya prayog. That means for a materialistic desire. Say you want a promotion, you want to move abroad, you want to have a child, you want a family member to come out of the ICU or out of a certain chronic health problem. So any desire, materialistic desire that you have, or say you want a job with, a 1 point something crore package, so that is the sankalp that you take, and you say, this is the reason that I want to do this sadhana, and you take up the sadhana. So in your sadhanas also, you have different malas for every deity, and whenever you take a kamya sadhana, that is for a particular desire, after you finish the sadhana, the mala is supposed to be given back to the universe, which means you should put it into flowing water, right? But when you are doing a sadhana for which is nishkamya, okay, which means you don't have any materialistic desire, your only desire is probably you want the grace of the particular deity, or you want your own spiritual development, then this mala is something that you can keep with you always. This is not a mala that you have to give back to nature, okay, because it is only for your spiritual development. Now coming to sadhana and your daily puja, so these are 2 totally separate things, okay. You may be somebody who doesn't do an everyday puja but would like to go on the path of the sadhana. Also you can do that. It's not mandatory that you light a diya every day and show some agarbatti and that's really getting you somewhere, unless there is a proper puja vidhi that you are following, right? Because when we do a puja, we are building and creating and inviting a certain energy, a divine energy into our environment, and setting that up in our home, where it becomes like a mini temple. It's your personal temple, so then the deity is taking care of you and everybody else who's living with you in that house, right? This is what proper puja is supposed to do, and the result and the fruit that it's supposed to give you. Now, suppose you don't have, a small home temple or something like that. You can still do sadhana as long as you have a photo of the deity or an idol of the deity. Sometimes, even if you don't have either, it's okay. If your visualization is strong enough, you would have noticed in every sadhana there is a dhyanam that is given. Okay, the dhyanam is always the description of the deity, what the deity looks like, how many hands they have, what is the expression on the face, what are they holding, wielding in each hand, whether it's a weapon or it's a some kind of medicinal herb, or it is books, it is vidya. So the dhyanam is always the description, and ideally, if you don't understand the meaning of it, you can always use Google Translate. Is a very effective way of doing it, or ask the person, whoever you have gotten this sadhana from, to give you the meaning or a picture of that deity, right? So if you just have that, doesn't matter, you can even keep it on your phone screen. But I personally feel that when you are doing your sadhana, unless you are using it for certain counts or something, please don't have the phone anywhere, not just near you, in that room where you are sitting and doing sadhana. Okay, because we are so addicted to our phones these days. The temptation is always there to to look at it or put it on, take it off airplane mode, and see who has sent you a text message, or if your boss has reverted back to your email, or the client has gotten back to you, or whatever. So that temptation is always there. When you sit for sadhana, you should think like it's just you and the deity, and nothing else exists, and nothing else comes in between. So it is better you use a counter. You get them on Amazon as well. You can just put it on your ring, and while you have the mala in one hand, every time you finish a certain mala, you can count that. Or if you have a counting app on your phone and you have the willpower not to keep looking at it all the time, then you keep your phone around you and keep it on airplane mode and on silent, so you don't have any disturbances in the middle, and inform whoever you have to inform, saying that I'm going to sit for my meditation. Because sadhana, whenever you're doing, you're not supposed to reveal to people how many days it is, which deity you are praying to, what mantra you are doing. So it is very good to keep your sadhana completely secret, completely gupt. Okay, it bears the maximum fruit if you do it this way. When it's okay for your family to know that you are going, you're tucking yourself away for an hour or two and you don't want to be disturbed, and just say I'm praying. That's all. You don't have to give them the breakdown and the explanation of what exactly you're doing. You just say, yeah, I'm going to go and sit for my prayers or sit for my meditation, and I do not wish to be disturbed, right? So now when you are doing your Nitya Puja is separate and your sadhana is separate. Now a lot of people do a lot of stotra chanting and the mala chanting also of whatever sadhana they are doing in the Nitya Puja also, which brings me to how should one layer their sadhana. So like I said a few minutes back, that you always start with Lord Ganpati. So if you're an absolute beginner, you take up a Ganpati sadhana, right? First you do the practice where there is no sankalp involved. See how it goes, see how you feel, how much energy you have, and if you're even up for it, if you can follow the yamas and niyamas, because sometimes these niyamas, they say that you shouldn't eat non-veg, sometimes no onion garlic also, you need to abstain from sex. So do a trial version of it without committing to the deity. Okay, because once you commit, then you're stuck. Then you have to complete it and get out of it. All right. So do the trial version of it. Then when you take up the sadhana, you finish your, say for example, a very short sadhana is doing the count of 1,25,000 japa in a span of 40 to 45 days, right? Either 40 days or 45 days. So when you take this up, you complete the sadhana of the mantra, okay, whichever mantra you have taken. Then once you have done one anushtan, okay, this 40-day period, this one sankalp is like one anushtan, okay. After that, once you are not doing the sadhana anymore, this same mantra jap you should be doing every day as a part of your Nitya Puja, which means one mala of this mantra for your Nitya Puja. You should continue that. Okay. Now, ideally, we never recommend anybody to do multiple sadhanas at the same time, and this is for good reason. One is that you should not bite off more than you can chew. The other more important and critical reason is that when you are doing sadhanas of multiple deities, their energies are very different. Okay, there are some sadhanas which raise your energy from the bottom upward, and there are some sadhanas which are bringing energy from top to bottom. Okay, so it is all to do with the upward and downward descent, the ascent and the descent. So if you are going to take on multiple sadhanas where the energies are going like this, then you are going to create havoc in your whole body, which is ultimately going to lead to a lot of hormonal issues, a lot of health problems, because you are disturbing that entire the energy circuit and your flow of prana, and the way all the vayus and all your chakras are functioning in your body. Okay, this is the main reason we say don't do 3-4 sadhanas at one time, do one sadhana at one time. Okay, so now if you have done Ganpati sadhana, ideally you should try to stick to one particular deity for 3 to 4 years, because that is how long it takes for you to, one, establish a proper connection to the deity. Second is you will start understanding and experiencing the energy of the deity and how the deity is expressing themselves in your daily life. Okay, so you will know on your own whether this sadhana is working for you or not, and this nobody will help you unless you have taken a diksha from a particular guru and they have given you set milestones or set indications that this is exactly what will happen. Say for example, after the 40th day, a stray dog will come at your at your main gate and wait for food, or a particular dream that you may have. So these are very clear and sure indications that yes, you are progressing exactly in the manner that you are supposed to on the path of sadhana, if you have been gotten a proper formal tantra diksha, right? So, but a lot of times we don't have dikshas, and for some basic sadhanas, you don't even need dikshas, right? You can take it up on your own, like a Ganpati sadhana, you can take it up. You can take up a sadhana even of the Ganpati Atharva Shirsha, which requires no initiation, right? So, when you stick to one deity, you will start understanding how that deity is connecting to you. Okay, now in the instance that you want to do multiple sadhanas, okay, so suppose you do a Ganpati sadhana, you take a 40-day anushtan, you finish that, and now that one mala goes into your Nitya Puja every day. Then now you say, okay, I want to do a Gayatri Mantra sadhana. So you follow the same rules again. Practice it for some time, see how you feel with it, see if it's gelling with you. Okay, when you feel you are now comfortable with it, then you take up the sankalpa, and again you do 1,25,000 in a period of 40 to 45 days. Okay, with all the yama niyamas that are there for Gayatri sadhana. So the yama niyamas will change depending on the deity, as well as depending on the mantra also. Okay, so you will have to see that. And then when you do a 40-day anushtan, then what happens is, in your Nitya Puja, you will be doing one mala of Ganpati, of the mantra that you have done anushtan, and you will do one mala of Gayatri mantra. Okay, so these two become now into your daily puja practice. Okay, even if you don't have a home temple, you will have to sit on your asan, light a diya, put dhoop, agarbatti or something, keep some nevedya. Even if you don't have any photos, it's okay. You can have a mental image of them and do your one Ganesh mala and one Gayatri mala. Okay, so this is how you keep taking on anushtans of or do sadhanas of different deities or different mantras, and then you start incorporating that into your everyday practice. Please note that when you do a sadhana, okay, and after you finish the sadhana, it is not advisable to just let the whole mantra and everything just go, in the air, into thin air. You should keep doing it, because when you do a sadhana, it is like you have generated and you have collected a lot of energy. Okay, it's like a battery. And then when you do one mala every day, it keeps that whole battery going all the time. Okay, you may not have to keep doing so many multiple anushtans all the time. But ideally, on the path of sadhana, when you're working with one deity, you should do at least 4 to 10 anushtans of the same deity of the same mantra. Okay, this makes it very powerful and very potent as well. So that is why we say that you stick to one deity for 3 to 5 years, because in that span you would have done multiple 40-day anushtans. Okay, and then by the time you can understand what exactly is happening in your life, that much period would have passed. You would have passed 3 to 5 years for you to understand what is going on, how the deity is interacting with you, how the deity is rearranging your karmas, and all of these things. Now, for people who find it very difficult to do sadhanas for the long haul, you can take up much shorter anushtans and shorter numbers. Say, for example, you will do 11,000 japs in 21 days or in 11 days. Okay, short mantras, sometimes the mantra is just a bij akshar, it's just one akshar also, which is very doable. So see if you can do the same thing in a shorter period, because everybody is not built for a marathon. Some of us are we can do, we're more good at doing the shorter runs, right? Just sprinting and then taking a break and then again sprinting. So this is also fine, but it's just that you still have to be consistent with it. Okay, so nobody is asking you to do back to back anushthan. Say you take a 40-day anushthan and then you take a 15-day break, and then you again take up one more anushthan and again you take a break. So for somebody who can't go back to back, like this whole machine gun firing, it's okay. Even if you don't have that kind of energy, you can still succeed on the path of sadhana. But you just kind of have to understand your own biorhythm and your own energy flow, when it is going up, when it is going down. Especially for women, we're bursting with different amounts of energy all through 24 hours and 365 days a year, right? For men, it is more stabilized. So you need to understand how fatigued you get, and how calm you are, or how long it takes for you to calm down, and how long you can sit and do a sadhana. And those of you who can do it for the long haul, then of course you don't have any problem. But if you feel that you can't do something, like you don't have that kind of stamina to go on and on and on and on without a break, then please, you can always take smaller breaks and do your sadhana, and eventually by God's grace you will get that kind of energy where you can sit for longer, or you can do a sadhana for more than 2-3 months continuously, or longer periods. You can sit, instead of 1 hour, you're able to sit for 4 hours or 6 hours in a day, and do that much sadhana. It is possible, and people do it. Don't look at me like, oh, what I'm saying is impossible. It's not. Okay, I'm also a spiritual upasak, and I have gone from somebody who couldn't even sit in one place for 5 minutes to sitting for a good number of hours without any mental disturbances or emotional disturbances or anything like that. But you kind of have to train your mind and your body slowly, and eventually. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a few years for some of us also, right? And this has got nothing to do with somebody who's able to gym for 3 hours. the energy that this takes and the willpower and concentration that this takes is very different from your physical energy of being able to go to the gym or walk 10,000 steps a day. Somebody who is absolutely fit may not have the kind of fitness that is required for sadhana. Sadhana requires a very different kind of fitness, and you will see somebody who is, an absolute couch potato with a very sedentary lifestyle, they are able to do sadhana so well also. So this has got no correlation to how much physical stamina you have. Okay, and the other reason why sometimes people with sedentary lifestyles are very good at doing sadhana is because they have a lot of tamas in their body. Okay, and tamas is required, a good amount of tamas is required for you to be able to sit in one place without moving and do what you need to do, right? So this, I mean, it can surprise you. So there is no particular parameter that, oh, if you can do this, you can walk 10,000 steps a day, you can do 100 push-ups, is that, oh, you will be able to sit for sadhana for 4 hours. No. So for everybody it is different, which is why I'm saying you need to watch yourself. And initially when you sit for sadhana also, your back will pain, your hips will pain, your knees and ankles will pain, you will feel the pins and the needles and a lot of things. So you kind of need to break your body also into sitting into the sadhana posture. Now some more strict sadhanas in the yamas and niyamas would have mentioned a particular posture that you need to sit in, say for example a padmasan, but it's not necessary that every time there is a posture maintained. As long as you can sit and keep your spine straight, it doesn't matter whether you're sitting on the floor or you're sitting on a chair, you can still do sadhana. So that should not be something that you feel like, oh, I can't sit on the floor, therefore I can't do sadhana. You can still very much do sadhana and succeed at it, and do it better than somebody who has all the flexibility of a yoga teacher with 25 years of experience, right? So the other thing that I want to talk to you about is, once you start doing a sadhana, how do you pack in more power into the sadhana? So this goes into your yamas and niyamas, where say now for example, if you're doing a Ganesh sadhana, if you are able to visit a Ganpati temple once every week or once every month, you don't have to do anything fancy, just go there and take his blessings and ask for him to support you in succeeding in this sadhana. So when you do that, or you make certain offerings in the Ganpati temple, or sometimes if you fast also, so say so Wednesday is his day, so you fast, if you can fast, you're fasting every Wednesdays, or you're fasting every Sankashti. So Sankashti comes once every month, like you have an Ekadashi, you have Pradosh. So you can keep that particular day's fast, which is which is assigned to that particular deity, right? So either it could be every Wednesday, or it could be the Sankashti that comes once every month. And if you are more drawn to the Shiva family, okay, which means Ganpati, Skanda, Kartikeya, Shivji and Devi, then if you can't keep so many vrats, you can just keep a Pradosh vrat on that day. Okay, it comes once every 15 days. That's something you can do. And if you're more of the Vishnu follower and Hanuman and all, then you can do Ekadashi also, if you can't fast every Saturday or every Tuesday and Saturday. So these are just ways to kind of pack in more power, more energy into your sadhanas, right? And there's nothing to be scared about it. But again, I would stress on the fact that, you do it when you feel like doing it, when you want to do it. Because what is going to happen is, if somebody has forced you on this path, it's going to have a rubber band effect. You will do it for 2 days, or you will do one round of it, and then you will never turn back and look at it also. Okay, and never ever abandon a sadhana midway, irrespective of whatever is happening in your life. Make sure you complete it and then again you decide whether this is something you want to continue doing, or maybe you've had enough and you're more than happy just visiting a temple and making your prayers, offerings there, and done with it, and this is not the path for you. The time will eventually come, maybe in this life, maybe in the next life. It will come when your soul is ready to take on this path. So please don't have FOMO, that oh my god, I'm missing out on something, or everybody's doing it and I'm not. Because believe me, this is not something that every time you're doing just to gain. And the other important thing that I want to answer, who is sadhana really for? So when you get into this path of sadhana, you need to genuinely have love and devotion towards your deity. Okay, I call it like a one-sided love. When you're in school and college and you like a certain somebody and they don't even know you exist, right? But you don't stop loving them just because they don't know you, they're in a different section, or they don't like you or see you that way. But you have this secret one-sided romance that is happening. So that is the way you are supposed to approach this path also, which is through bhakti. That's what it is. It doesn't matter whether the deity has or hasn't taken notice of you. And believe me, they're gods, so they will take notice. If you have put in sufficient enough of efforts, yes, you are going to get their attention, right? So but you should get into this path without really having too many expectations, and say that I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm doing this because I love doing it and I want to do this, not because somebody told me, somebody forced me, because all my friends are doing it. Oh, now it's very cool to wear rudraksh and say I'm also doing bhairav sadhana and this, that and the other. Please don't get into all this, because these are not things that you play around with, right? Energy can create havoc, it can create and it can destroy, it can do all of it, right? So you need to be very careful about this and approach it with that initial one-sided love. So find a deity that you can absolutely fall in love with. And sadhanas, and how do we know which sadhana is good for us, is by understanding which deity you resonate with. Okay, so if you see a lot of people resonate with Lord Hanuman, that's because they share the similar qualities, like that deity. That is the deity that is most compatible with you, so you don't, the resistance is much less, and there's a lot less dhoom dharaka that's happening in your life when you take up the sadhana also. Say for example, now somebody who's generally a very soft, shy and timid person, if they suddenly take up a Kali sadhana, it's going to be catastrophic, because she is bold and fierce and like a go-getter, and she will stop at nothing. So if you are somebody who lacks courage, who can't even speak up for themselves, and you take up the sadhana, it can be because your personality is not in alignment with that personality of the divine, right? But at the same time, if this person is shy and soft and all, they can take up a sadhana of goddess Parvati, because there she is more softer, more gentler, more more motherly. Not that any of the Mahavidyas are less, or any Devi is less motherly, but you get what I'm saying. So the traits and the characteristic traits, you should have something that is overlapping with you to be able to take up that particular deity sadhana over a longer period of time. And this is exactly where the Guru comes in, because the Guru is able to tell you which is the right match for you. You can't, some people will say I want to do this sadhana and that, but you don't have that kind of fire within you to do the sadhana of this particular deity, which the deity demands, right? So instead of unnecessarily having catastrophes here and there, it is better that you do a sadhana of a deity that you resonate with, or you're most comfortable doing. Of course, all these parameters come at a intermediate to an advanced stage, but to begin with, doing Ganpati, doing Guru sadhana, doing Gayatri sadhana, okay, are all very safe to do, and they build a really solid foundation for you before you kind of venture out into any other deity, right? So approach it with love, approach it with devotion, and it should be something that, you can do this all day every day and it won't tire you. Remember, like in school we said, when you don't feel like studying, you should take up the subject which you love the most, and when you have the energy to study, you should take up a subject which you don't like, because since you have the energy. So the same kind of principle is here. If you are somebody who is anyway in love with the divine, and it doesn't matter whether the divine has noticed you, whether the divine is reciprocating or not, it doesn't matter, because what happens is, even in sadhana, sometimes your experiences can be very rich, and sometimes it can be absolutely blank, where you don't know what is happening. And this is not just in the later stages, it happens to people even in the very beginning level. A lot of people don't experience anything in the beginning, and you start wondering that, what am I doing this right? First thing. Second is, you start wondering, is this even working? Are my prayers even getting heard? And then when you don't get you're not getting experiences, or say you've done a kamya prayog and it's taking time, then you're wondering, was there even any sense in me doing this whole sadhana? Will I even see the fruit of it? So your mind can cough up a lot of these kind of questions, which is why you need love. So irrespective of whether the deity looks at you or no, gives you blessings or no, comes in your dream or no, gives you what you want or no, nothing matters. All that matters is that you are in love with the deity. That's it. Okay, so it first comes from giving. Once you have to give yourself, you have to give your heart, you have to give your consciousness, okay, and you have to give your time to the deity. Okay, and then after some time you will start seeing that reciprocation happen. So it needs to come from you first. Okay, then it comes from the deity. So don't get disheartened if you don't see or feel or get anything initially in your first round or first anushtan. Sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5 anushtans for you to figure out what is going on, right? So keeping all this in mind is what you need to know before you go ahead in sadhana. If you have any more questions, please leave them down in the comment section, and I'll probably address them in another video. But this is all I had for you today, and I hope you've really understood what this whole path of sadhana is and what it entails. So don't just jump into it. Think it through and see how you feel, and this should be a conscious decision that you're taking. Don't go with the wave that of society or whoever, whatever is doing, because this is a highly individualized path. Okay, it is the journey from you to the divine, and it is different for everybody, and it changes. It takes its own course, midway and when you advance through it. So your journey is not going to be the same as somebody else who is doing the same mantra of the same deity also. Okay, so you need to approach it with your own mind and your own heart. And that's it I have for you today. Until next time, take care. Bye bye. Om Hrim Shri Gurubhyo Namah.